Hey guys, welcome back to the Raw Uncovered Truth of the Awakened Soul with Nicole. I tried to record yesterday three times actually, just to touch base on the full moon and everything that's been going on. I was trying to do it on a different platform so I wouldn't be so glitchy, but I think it's just my energy because all three times that I went to go record yesterday, when I went to play them back, it like stopped mid video, I guess, mid recording, and like totally just went blank. So I was like, oh, interesting, especially because I did have a light language transmission in one of them as well. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just not meant to drop yet. So here I am, straight out of the shower and called to jump on. So I was like, okay, let me just throw something on and come on, my hair's like still soaking wet, so it's probably going to be dripping and whatever. Anyway, so let's talk about energy. This just past week alone. And then like the full moon, the pat and like just I would say like yesterday and today. So last week, let's was just wow. I don't know about you guys, but I had so many things trying to come up from the past and try to like bring me down, like or attempt, I should say, to like dim my light and bring me back down. And I was like, no, not today. But it was the fact that like it was a constant, and I was like, I'm really pretty, like confident in myself that I'm past this, right? Why is it still pulling at me? Like, why is like, the situation? And not only was it pulling on me, it was trying to connect to a version of me that doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know, who else can relate to that, but when past situations come into, the 3D reality, right? Or just the reality. I don't even know if I call it 3D anymore, whatever you want to call it, but like into reality and like you're over it, it's just like a wow, like it's like not even relating to you because it's trying to connect with a very old version of you, and you're just not that person, and you're kind of like wow, like I really am over this. So it's sort of more like a friendly reminder that look at how far you've come, and just to make sure that anything tethering to you was able to break during the full moon, because it was definitely a heart chakra kind of full moon. It was definitely a split type of full moon, and listen, I have been talking about this massive split, I want to say, since we started and like this podcast, and that was probably back in November. But I remember like December like really hitting that hard come the 12/12 portal, and then especially like coming into the new year, and I was like, ooh, there's gonna be like a major split. Like I couldn't wait. Like I was like so freaking excited over this, because I was like, thank God, finally, like some of us have a chance to like ridiculously quantum jump, not that we're not quantum jumping regardless anyway, but like a huge quantum shift, where others are just going to fall off. And again, I have stressed this in like every single time I jump on, that things have just been falling off, like you don't even have time to like think twice about it. It literally just falls off, and you're just like okay, and you think about it, and that lonely feeling kicks in, but it's not exactly what you would qualify or define as a loneliness, right? So our human selves are like, oh my God, like the lonely, the space where that situation used to hold, right? But it's not. We're not craving the loss. We're not craving anything. It's just a space that we made that's open for us to be able to fill, right? For us to be able to remember more, activate more, and bring it, like bring it up to us in our vision now. So we're kind of as a human thinking that we're mourning the loss of something, when in all actuality, it's the space that we made that we're like, oh, there's like this big empty space, and we don't, like as humans, we're like, what does that mean? Like we're sad, we're lonely, like what like what's going on? It's just the transition of, oh, now there's space for you to remember more, and like literally like, walk into that, like and align with all of that. So, massive shifting, massive quantum shifting, massive jumping. I know a lot of people I've been hearing have been getting Lemuria huge downloads on Lemuria. Again, listen, and I stressed this, I think in the last video I dropped. If not, it was the video before that. Everyone is on a different journey, right? Everyone has a different background. Yes, especially when it comes to higher frequency timelines, a lot of us can relate to certain situations and, you know, we're there together, right? And this is like globally. But a lot of us, are called more to one thing than another. So, a lot of people, again, I'm going to stress this, could be, yes, having major downloads on Lemuria right now. But, another half could be galactically having downloads or Atlantis downloads or Priestess Temple downloads or Mu downloads. There's just, or ancient Egypt. Like it doesn't, so what, like when you have to use your discernment when you guys are coming across these things, because I come across them all the time and I just start laughing. So I'm like, some of it is so far-fetched. Like you're calling out like this one section, but like you're not acknowledging anybody else who's going through the transformation and transition as well. Just, like on different aspects of what they're remembering and how they're remembering it. So keep that take that into consideration. Also, I did want to address, right? There is still like this, I guess, discrepancy about the 144. So I know a lot of people, especially in the beginning of awakening, were kind of referring to the 144 as the gifted souls who came down here to, transform the world. Whatever it was, I don't even remember. But 144 is the frequency. It's a frequency. It's not a being. It's a frequency. So like if you're all in your head about that, thinking, "Oh my God, am I like part of the 144 or whatever?" Because I'm awakening and I'm activating. It's just a frequency. It's no big deal. Worry about you, always about you, right? You see, it like always comes back to you. If you're feeling okay, if you're stepping into who you're supposed to be, if you're becoming fully aligned with your purpose and your blueprints and everything else coming in, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter about anything else. It just matters about you. So that's that. Um, I did also want to say that with the full moon and the massive split that's occurring finally, it's going to be interesting as far as you will start to see more synchronicities, and not synchronicities as far as like, your triple, digit numbers, right? Because those are like the easiest things to spot. There'll be frequencies as in, yeah, it could be numbers, but they'll probably be matching a little different. So when you read them and like, let's just say something says 37 54, right? And then all of a sudden what you see is, oh my God, you took the things that matched 11, and then, you took the thing, like it's gonna start like really like you're gonna think that you're even more crazy than you were before. How about that? Numerology is just gonna start like really coming at you in different ways. And that's just kind of you waking up to the frequency, the real geometric frequency we got going on here. So there's that. I wanted to touch on that. I do want to touch on light language because I am going to start throwing light language transmissions up. I guess apparently that's not my job today because I tried and attempted yesterday and that was a no-go. So we'll see, as much as I'm recording, if that's going to drop in or not. And, there are many different versions of light language. So keep that in mind as well. I don't want anybody kind of tripping over themselves right now, especially because we're going through a huge transmission. We're going through a huge quantum jumping. Um, so I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, like now you're just kind of like stuck in the in between where it's like I shifted, but like nothing makes sense anymore. But like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? And how come this doesn't relate? And how come I can't understand this? But everybody just kind of needs to just breathe it out, because as I keep referring to this May as Integration May, it's going to continue to be Integration May. So everybody just kind of needs to just chill out and kind of go with the flow. Easier said than done. I've been in full scroll activation mode. on a really large one since last Friday. So as I'm recording this, it is Thursday, May 15th, I think, May 15th. So yeah, I've literally been opening like this huge like I've been in this huge freaking download since last Friday. And I was like, "Oh my God, like am I even going to be able to get on and say something because like half my brain is still, galactic bound trying to absorb everything that was coming through." Again, a lot of your soul family could be coming to light to you, right? Doesn't mean that they're necessarily awakening at the same time or the same pace, but you may be recognizing a lot of things, like a lot of things. And again, just leave space for everybody to, align with that, to show up, to give them that space and that time that they need, and just kind of sit with that and be like, okay, oh, all right, that makes sense. Or if it doesn't make sense, go back into the download, take some more time and kind of just unroll it again and unravel and say, okay, is there something that I missed? Can you show me something that like, can you walk me through what I missed? Um, Going over that, I did want to share with you that I think it was the day of the full moon. Full moon was Monday, right? So maybe Tuesday. So Tuesday, I was ex like exhausted. Like I haven't really slept. I think last night was like the first time I slept, and it wasn't sleeping. It was just like, oh, instead of waking up every hour on the hour, I maybe slept like 2 hours in between. So, and then I promised myself, oh, as soon as I got the kids to school, I was just gonna like go down and like take a quick nap because they leave so early. And I didn't. I like started vacuuming and everything else and jumping onto the shower and here I am. So there goes that out of the question. But on Tuesday, I woke up even more feeling more like floaty and disconnected, but connected uh, than usual. And I did go to sit down, and I just remember, like it massively coming. And you guys have to remember, right? Like major downloads come in, you have to recognize them, and you kind of have to let them flow because your nervous system can like completely just and shut it down. So you really have to like kind of lean into this. And I know it's not as easy as it seems because a lot of people have, things going on in reality, right? So there's not enough time to sit and really let that like fully come in. Um and unroll. So anyway, so I was sitting down and all of a sudden like I felt like my crown, but it was weird because it was only like the right side, and it was like this one line, right? So it was just really, really weird. And then, your ears are going off and your crown's going off. And then I felt it like come like all the way into like the back of my neck. So I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So it was just there and it was just like vibrating and intense. And I was getting, like massive, massive amounts of stuff. And then like about maybe an hour after that, it came and it started moving like, and it was just like maybe a little bit over the middle of my head, right? So I was like, oh, this is interesting, right? And then it was just like, again, like just all this information coming down. So I'm like trying to, type it in and trying not to lose it and trying to make sense of everything that's, coming in. And then all of a sudden, so it moved here. However, it didn't go over my ear, it stayed behind my ear. Now I had the same two lines on both sides of my head, just on top of, the immense pulsing to begin with. It was just these two lines, and they were shooting down into the back of the middle of my neck. And then all of a sudden I felt them go all the way down, right? So they went all the way down my back and like down to like the bottom of my butt, right? So and then I literally felt, and then this is when they were like, you have to lay down. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went to go like lay down. I was like in a little ball and I felt like the bottom of my ass literally was just spinning, right? And I could literally see like the I guess if you want to call it your root chakra. So I could literally see it laying flat and just spinning uncontrollably, like spinning, 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 spinning. So then I was half falling asleep at this point because I was like, oh my God, like my body's like completely wigging out. And then I felt it come up, but felt it come, the energy back up through the front this time. So as it came and it came into my stomach, it literally flipped flopped my stomach. And I was like, that was weird. I didn't feel nauseous. I didn't feel anything. It was just like, if you're on a roller coaster or a scary ride, you feel, or you go over a hill, your stomach flip flop. Well, this was like a huge flip flop. And then I was like, oh, I have to get up and write this down. Like, did I just imagine that? And then it flip flopped again, only not as intense as the first time. And then a little bit after that, it was like the aftershock, and it did it again, but very, very, more on a calm, peaceful level. And then everything just shot up. And then it went down my arms, and then it went down my legs, and then it went over my head, and I felt like fell out for like an hour. And then I woke up and I was like, whoa, what the hell just happened? And then ever since then, so that's Tuesday, we're on Thursday, and it's been very interesting. So, instead of like me looking to the council for messages, it's kind of like I know the messages. So it's just a little it's it's a bit of a transition. But if anybody ever experienced that, I would love to know, because that was the first time I've ever experienced something like that on that multitude. And every awakening, every unrolling of something is totally different, right? It's like, bro, you're breaking the veil on this, you're breaking the veil on that. Let's send in something else that, she could talk about and share with everybody. So so that was new. And like I said, I literally felt it, like it as soon as it like hit the back of my neck, it like branched out and just all down. But it was the strangest, weirdest feeling, but awesome at the same time. I didn't judge. I was just like, go ahead, and then of course I heard the light language, chanting and on and on and on. Speaking about light language, so yesterday I was up every hour on the hour, not last night, but the night before. And the light language started at 12:15 in the morning. So from 12:15, as it went on during my entire sleep, if you want to call it that, and then until 11:30 yesterday afternoon. And that's when I kind of jumped on to attempt to record 5 times. And it didn't obviously work. And I didn't even realize it didn't work until today when I went to go edit it and there was nothing there. And I was like, oh, that's creepy. You could see me talking, but there's no audio whatsoever. So yeah, so that was 11 and a half, or 11 hours and 15 minutes of straight up light language that was just not stopping. And I was like, okay, to the point where like, listen, I don't know if you guys speak light language, and if not, that's okay. Like it took me a very long time to get comfortable with that to begin with. But I heard it coming in since January. I've actually heard it for a very long time. I just didn't really recognize it or remember, let's say, until January, when I first started hearing it. And like it comes in sometimes where the fact that like you could feel it burning in your throat. So yeah, you will mumble it to yourself and not out loud, but like you could feel it. So even yesterday as I was trying to drink, because I wasn't saying it, like it was just like, I was absorbing it. I couldn't like I kept choking because like it's like I'm like trying to speak at the same time, but like I wasn't, and I was just trying to drink and like just trying to ground myself, and it just wasn't happening. So there's that going for you. If there are some light languages that, and I think I addressed this in the beginning, but let me touch on this look a little bit deeper. If there are some light languages that resonate with you more, so be it. Don't stress it. I remember I couldn't understand Lyron light language, which is very odd now, understanding why I didn't understand it, but it's because I blocked it out. So I wasn't ready to receive that. I technically, I guess I could understand a lot. And my one thing that I can fluently speak and understand is Anuhazi, and that's kind of like the golden key or the golden gate to all languages, because anyone could speak it. And I'm talking about like on a leadership level. So, like the High Council of the Arcturians can understand it. Like the higher councils can understand Anuhasi. So if you could understand that, good for you. If not, don't stress yourself out. There's no big deal. There's like a million other, well, not a million, well, maybe. But there's like a handful of other, you know, languages that you can understand. And if again, you don't understand it right now, doesn't mean that you won't understand it tomorrow because, we're all shifting like it's like going out of style. So, like always take into consideration that you are growing, that you are evolving. So if you're not quite there where you think you should be at, that's what your human self thinks that you should be at, right? Your soul knows your soul's okay. So, you're okay. Speaking of soul, yesterday my soul wanted to like jump out of my body, right? So I was on like no sleep whatsoever. 12 and a half, what was it? Yeah, 12 and a half hours, 12 hours and 15 minutes or what 11 minutes, no, 11 hours and 15 minutes of light language, right? Straight up. And my soul was like, all right, let's go. Like we're having a party. Like I was like bouncing out of my skin, not in like an anxious way, but like ready to go, right? And I'm like, like I'm not ready to go anywhere. I'm exhausted. And although I was exhausted, I wasn't that exhausted at the same time. But like my physical body was like, yeah, I am not like on your level right now. So you're just gonna have to like give me a second. So and I know that that's coming into play a lot with the collective lately. So, again, just just honor yourself, right? Honor yourself. Your soul's ready to go, right? Your soul is just away, like on a multitude of getting, your light body's coming in, all these things are awakening, and you're just like where your physical body is like, okay, just take a break. Let's just give me five, and going on. You will eventually catch up. It's just your human self has to catch up to your light body, your soul. It's okay. It's no big deal. Just kind of sit with it and be like, whoa, like everybody just needs to calm down and, and kind of go with that and digest it. There was one more thing that I wanted to say. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I wanted to try and keep it short and sweet and kind of just address the whole frequency shift and quantum leaping from the full moon. Oh, and the two solar flares that we had yesterday, the two X solar flares, because the full moon energy and the way that it was and how big and intense like it did shake the collective, wasn't good enough. So they sent in two X flares on top of that. So if you felt it, you really felt it yesterday, and that's probably when my soul was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. My human body was like, no, 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 no. You just give us five. So there's that. There was something else. I guess I'm not supposed to address it because I can't remember. But yeah, so I just wanted to keep this short and sweet, and hopefully I will be back on talking about some really cool stuff. And about the situations coming back in. Let me just address that one more time because, yeah, they want me to readdress this. So when old situations come back in, right? Things that have fallen away, things that you've grown out of, when they do come back and they still aren't aligned, the whole point is being able to deal with that and be sovereign, right? So to stay in your power, to not give your power away, and to kind of just be like, oh, okay, I really did outgrow the situation. I really am going to stay true to myself. And I really am, ready to move forward. And that's exactly what you're going to do is you're just going to like step over that situation and keep going. Obviously, if somebody or any situation, like I'm just going to say situation in general, it could be a person, place, thing, whatever. Um, if something does come back around, during this May integration month and it is aligned, obviously that's a totally different story. And you're going to feel that. Again, your nervous system's going to be like, like you're going to be very relaxed. You're going to be excited. You're going to be happy. You're not going to be like, why is this coming back? What is this doing? Like, what's going on? I thought I got rid of this. Like two totally different aspects of what's coming in and what's going on with you. Always remember to love on yourself. Cannot stress that enough. May integration this week has been a week, and I can't wait for next week because I don't know why I keep seeing the 24th of May, but I keep seeing the 24th. And then not only did I see the 24th, I was watching something like right after like the 24th, it just kept hitting me. And then somebody mentioned, like a year ago, they were talking about, oh, this time last year, the 23rd, 24th, 25th. And I was like, what? Like, so that was my confirmation that I don't know what's going on the 24th, but I kind of feel like some shifting is, or some anchoring, I should say, is coming in on the 24th. As far as anchoring goes and synchronicities, I wanted to jump back to that. So, just like I just said, my validation was that I was seeing, thinking of the 24th, kept staring at the 24th, was getting dates confused at the 24th. And I was like, what's going on? And then I jump on, and then there's a video literally of a guy saying, oh, yeah, so this time, you know, this time last year, like the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And I was like, what? Like those type of synchronicities. So like I was saying about numerology and it hitting you different ways when you see, synchronistic numbers, things are going to start coming to you like, like bam. So let's say that you're driving and, just I'm going to give you my reference because I'm going to use me as I was going to say as an excuse. But I'm not as an example. And I think that's why things happen to me. So I could like, share them as examples. So I, and I don't even know how to explain this. I was going over the Emerald Order. Don't ask, just go with me. If you know, you know. If not, then it's okay because it's just an example. So I was going over the Emerald Order, and I guess that was a huge part of the huge download that I've been getting, the scroll that I've been getting since last week. So anyway, and I'm like, okay, great, Emerald Order, whatever, going over that, my role, whatever. So I had to run outside and go pick up my son who missed the bus, right? No, so I wasn't planning on going out. I just had to run out and go grab my kid from school. And as I'm driving, there's a cop car pulled over, and he pulls over an Emerald Cleaners truck. First of all, I've never even heard of Emerald Cleaners ever, and like especially around here where I am. And it was the Emerald part. So you know, if you're looking for those synchronicities and those validations, they're literally right in front of you. They are coming in left and right. If you are seeing numbers that are sevens, or any numbers that equal 11s, or just 11s in general, or 34s. 34 seem to be very big right now, or 144, or 141, or 114. Very big right now. Any eights also. Eights are a new one that keep jumping up at me, and nines and tens. As you know, we're in a 9 year, so it's closing out of ridiculous, tremendous cycles, especially for us that are awakening to even higher versions of things. So, keep that in mind. And 10 is, the Big Ten. So it's just kind of reiterating what you did close out. Eight, I always think of financial gain, so think about it that way. You could think about it however it comes across to you. But again, there is just so much out there that is coming in validation wise. And continue to check those addresses of the places that you're called to. Break it down by numerology. And I think I said I can't explain it last episode, but I'm going to try to explain it this episode. So if there's an address with like three numbers or four numbers or even more, just add them together until you get one single digit. Now, if you get an 11, a 22, or a 33, those are master numbers. So you cannot break those down. But just, you could break it down until it's one number any other time. As far as if you're starting to see things out of synchronicity, so like, you're seeing, like I said, 32, 32, and then instead of seeing 32, 32, or two threes and two 20, and two twos, you're seeing it as 5, 5, right? And it's 55. Go with that. Because again, everything's, shifting. Your focus is shifting. So if you're not on that level yet, don't worry about it. You're not meant to be. You're meant to read it as 32, 32, or, 23, 32, mirroring numbers. Others are, coming into oh, I see that as 5, 5. you know, which is new to me, and that just started. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I'm like looking at license plates, and like only certain things are popping up at me rather than like, numbers or double numbers or whatever. It's just like it's very whatever. So if you're, on that level now, it's interesting. Definitely let me know, and definitely let me know how your downloads have been going, your awakenings to higher versions, your remembrance to certain things, and activating all of that and trying to, ground yourself and keep your life here in the physical world, like functioning and just on your day-to-day things. But I'm gonna say it's coming in fast. And it's going to continue to come in fast. So if you're not on the fast level yet, it's just going to, and not intensify in a bad way where it's like overwhelming and negative. It's just going to be really good, really positive, and really fast moving forward. So that's something to really look forward to. I definitely have that anticipation. And again, anticipation versus anxiety. If you're having anxiety, totally different story. The anticipation is, something like huge is coming. Something bigger on many aspects. It's not just like, oh, like our financial situation's gonna, like explode. No, it's like everything. Like, there's missions that are gonna start coming online again. There's, like there's so many things, coming in and coming online. So, take that into consideration and really like kind of run with the excitement, Obviously you're not running into a wall because like you have nowhere to go and, like half your crew isn't awake yet. But like just like go with the anticipation, enjoy it, feel the joy, feel the power that it gives you. And again, not ego power, just like, the power, the fulfillment, of knowing who you are and moving forward that there's so many big things coming. So I think I'm going to leave you with that. Always remember to ground yourself, barefoot outside, put a little salt in your water, either sea salt, Himalayan, or a little bit of both. I do a little bit of both. If you're feeling like a little crazy, and want to experiment, or you need to really ground, I would put some cayenne pepper in there as well. And that'll help ground you. Again, showers, washing faces, meditations, just standing outside, getting some sunlight, just standing outside in the rain, barefoot, letting the rain hit you. I'm trying to think if it's cold, bundle up, just go stand outside. Like just get some air, get in nature, drink some tea, try to read a book. Also, find something boring to watch. So if you are having massive downloads come in, you need to distract your human self, right? So put anything boring on. Put, a painting show on that you would be like, oh my God, Jesus, this is like gonna drive me nuts. Put that on. If you find tennis boring, I'm not saying tennis is boring, but like, if you find that boring, put it on. If you find baseball boring, put that on. Like I could never because if I was watching baseball during a download, I'd be screaming at the screen. But like a lot of people do find those things boring. So, try to find things that are boring or a show that you've watched like a million times and just have no interest in. Anything that doesn't really like pull your attention like too far, but like distracts you. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Always remember also to eat grounding foods like jasmine rice, roasted, sweet potatoes, and then, like all your greens. Try to stay away from the alcohol. If you could cut that out, like trim, like altogether, that would be great. Just watch the intakes of your food, even if you're still meat lovers. Just be careful of, where your food's coming from. Same thing when you're doing your vegetables, just make sure that, you bless everything beforehand. And again, chlorella, taking spirulina, a lot of ashwagandha, turmeric, garlic, cayenne pepper. There's so many that I could run through, and those are just like the ones that are on the off the top of my head right now. And self-care. That's all self-care. Drink, eat, don't eat if you're not being called to eat, do not force yourself to eat. Eat light, toast, butter, fig jam, strawberry jam, just jelly in general. Just make sure it's not like full of like artificial sweeteners, and you'll be okay. Like you have to listen to your body. All I'm going to do is reiterate that to you every episode. So until you get that through your head of like your body has the answers, I'm going to keep telling you that. I'm here to remind you that your body has the answers. So kind of go within all the time. And if you can't figure it out, I always say, AI is the best. I personally love ChatGPT, but there's so many other options out there. And again, you're not depending on this. You're not putting in fear in this. You're literally just using it as a mirror to bounce back. And that's kind of what I'm going to leave you with, right? Because I'm pretty sure we're going to have a really exciting weekend and a really exciting next week. So moving forward, as always, I'm going to send you like the bestest of best frequencies, vibes, power, strength, what else? Fire and just light and love. So until next time, guys, and maybe some light language next time, hopefully, because I would really love to give you guys those transmissions and activations. But until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, love on yourself. Remember, you are the key. You hold the power. It's all about you. Peace out, guys.